guys, it's the History Nerd, and we're back with another episode of Victoria 2, Heart of Darkness, Spain. Alright, first things first, let's get rid of that clergyman in Castilla La Nueva. Butchered that. And I'm guessing we need to slap some into Leon Castile. Not sure why, maybe population differences, Vasconia there dropped down. Whatever, but now we've got that covered. Good. And we will continue with the education of the Spanish population. Now, I am fully aware that red pops don't really reinforce, and that's sad. But, if we take a look at my military panel, there's really not much I can do about that. So, we're kind of stuck where we're at for the moment. As things improve in Spain, and as we get more national focuses so I can start getting some soldier pops going, then things should improve. I guess I could actually throw more money at defense spending, really. We got enough kicking around here. Put it up to 50%. Yeah, that should be good. And, at the moment, I'm not worried about taxing capitalists, because we have none. So we can suck as much money as we want out of the aristocrats. I'm not really concerned about that. Once I start encouraging the capitalist pops, then I'll drop this down to nothing. Because, like Roloing pointed out in the comments, the tax money we're getting from them is pretty worthless. I mean, 29 pounds here or there, that doesn't really matter. So, yeah, we shouldn't really have to worry about that. Now, was toying around with some ideas of where to go next, and I think we're fairly safe leaving the Pacific region where it is at the moment. I'm not going to be able to get enough troops there to take on Siam, which is unfortunate. We could actually... Maybe we could go for... here. So what do they got? Tea, wheat, tobacco, and coffee. All three of those are pretty nice. But I'm thinking of going after Morocco. Now, if we take a look at the diplomatic situation with Morocco, the United Kingdom is already cordial with them. So it would take some serious catching up to beat that. Now, I don't know if the Brits are actually investing. It doesn't look like they are. We could probably pull Morocco into our sphere of influence quite easily. The downside to that, obviously, is that they're not Spanish land. They're just friends. So, I'm thinking we need to get a colonial concession from them first. Particularly this place. Taza. Mainly because it's got the only resource that really matters. Gold. Now, I'm not saying that that only gold matters in the game. What I mean by that very confusing sentence is, in the entire country of Morocco, this one province is the only province producing anything worthwhile. Possibly the fruit, which we'll get half of in Taza anyway, but the gold is always good. And we've already got a little port place here in Melilla. Melia? That place. So we'd be nice and connected. And I mean, really, that would be a nice chunk of Morocco to take. Moroccan West Morocco? Sometimes the names in this game. So I'm thinking that might be the best way to go about getting Morocco. Now, the UK isn't influencing them at all, so once we take that land from them, I would be fine pulling what's left of Morocco into our sphere of influence. Just, you know, because. So I think that's the route we're going to take. So, first things first, let's start justifying a war for a colonial concession. Thank you. And let's take and split these guys up. Like so. They've got 10 brigades. That's quite a few. let's see if we can snag one of the... what are you got? Yeah, we can send you to the colonies. That's what you get for being a rebel. And we'll send the fleet there as well. Speed up time to 3. Thank you. Yep, that's fine, that's fine. Alright. So we'll take that group. No, that's not what I wanted. I wanted that. Send them to Melilla, or however you pronounce that. We can speed this up a little bit more. In fact, we don't need it going this slowly. There we go. Head back that way. Alright. Let's take a look at the features that put Grammar Nazi out of a job. Terribly sorry for that. And by no means do I think that we can make do with just one newspaper. In fact, if I've learned anything, it's better to have more than one. So if you feel like at any time to resume doing your reports on what's going on, feel free, Grammar Nazi. I ain't gonna stop you. What do we got? Fears of Japan. That's fine. Invention. The Doctrine of Lapse. Okay. Wind of Westernization in the Chinese Empire. Ooh, that could be interesting. Papal research completed. Prices are rising. Invention in Spain. That's right. Chemotherapy, bitches. And war between Belgium and Prussia. Ooh. Actually, I think I knew that was going on, but I wouldn't mind seeing how that war is going. And it looks like not much is going on up there. Cool. A-okay with that. And they're slowly coming in. Another thing I wanted to... Yeah, we can't. Although that might be... Oh. We don't have a lot of money, but it might not be a bad idea to start throwing some of it at railroads. How much is that going to cost? 3, basically 4 grand. We can afford a few of them. We'll go there and there. And there. Might as well try and get the capital region up. I don't think we can build in mountains yet, so that's a bit of a pain. And then we'll expand into Valencia. And now we're broke. But that felt good. Slowly getting the foundations laid for the Spanish Industrial Revolution. We got our forces in there, so we can slap those guys together, put them on a boat, and send them to the colonies. And then we can send that navy back. And in retrospect, I do think I kind of screwed up the technology. It may have been better to leave it for 2 years to develop instead of going after the railroads. But thankfully, I think that's a mistake I'll be able to recover from. Oh. What's America doing in there? No. You can't have Mexico. How are things looking in Colombia? We're just about to get them into our sphere. That's always good news. And everything else is looking pretty good. Except for that. So how about we just go, hey, you don't like them anymore. Perfect. Brazil. What can we do with you, Brazil? Increase your opinion? Okay, there we go. And Colombia. Add to our sphere. Wonderful. So now I will just have to refresh my memory on what it takes to... Oh, I wonder if they reworked how to do canals and fun things like that. That's worth looking into. Maybe it'll just come along with technology. I hope. Because building the canal is going to be really important. I think. At the very least, it's going to be good for prestige. And while I'm paused, let's see, we are 10 points ahead of the Ottoman Empire. Not the best, but we'll roll with it. Excellent. Attrition rates going down, that's going to be quite important once we start going after our colonial expansionism. UK, yeah, we'll just increase relations and get a bit of prestige from them. There's really no reason to go to war with the UK yet. Did that come through? Without raising my infamy? Haha! Look at that. Alright. Go to diplomacy. Declare a war for Taza. Hold on. I want to check something. They are a primitive nation. Okay, good. Declare a war. Demand concession. Taza. Proceed. Alright. So we'll send one army that way. Actually, we should send that army that way. And that army that way. That seems like a lot. Well, no, I guess that would be 10. I stand corrected. And, in fact, the sea zones, we can probably get a blockade going here. We'll just split the fleet up, like that, and send a couple of frigates there. Okay, and then a couple of frigates there, and then we'll send that there, and we'll split off another little squadron to go east. Like... how do I want to do this? Like so? I think that'll work. Come on. Oh! Whoops! Certainly not my brightest moment there, but... You know, the Strait of Gibraltar could be 2 sea zones, conceivably. And I don't think I need to worry about the Tunisian military. I doubt they'll make the trek across Algeria, even if they could, or through the desert. That would be ridiculous. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. We'll slow that down. Oh, this is not looking good at all. The Algerians showed up! Yes, thank you. Oh, shoot. Oh! Double crap. Okay. Okay, we can recover from this. We can recover. We've got transports there, so let's split off our cavalry. Who's leading this military? Okay, I'd rather keep him there. This guy. The Northern Army. Whoa. Oh, yeah, that's fine. I mean, a little bit of a prestige hit, that kind of sucks, but we need a good military leader for our cavalry troops. How did they get such a... They didn't even mobilize, and they've got 26 freaking divisions? I wonder. Damn my infamy. If it was at 0, they might have accepted that. Oh well. Probably would have been quicker to drop the fleet back into Cadiz, but what you gonna do? War between Spain and Morocco, making the front page. Excellent. Looks like the Hawaiians have invented flintlock rifle armaments. Good for them. And that's about it. Oh, come on, hurry up and get there. Excellent. Can merge those guys together. Beautiful. And now we can go after our old port. Yes, take it. Come to that Ashdir. Sucker, charge! And we should hopefully slaughter these guys. And we do! Beautiful. Let's go after that army now. Even better. Although they are retreating, but they are severely beaten. And that's always a good thing when you're fighting a war. So let's crank that back up to 4. Crisis averted on the colonial front. We should be able to handle this war handedly. In fact, that's even fighting at only 50% national stockpile. So, yeah. Not doing too badly for ourselves. I do have to say, I don't know if I'm really a fan of how long it takes for the new conquest. Kinda drags a bit. But perhaps I just need to get used to it. Or maybe I'll get lucky and it'll get fixed in a patch. You never know with Paradox. That's one of the reasons why they're becoming my favorite developer. That, and if you guys have not seen the Leviathan Warships trailer, highly recommended. It's pretty hilarious. And, oh! This is exciting! Once we take this province, we will finally be able to see, finally, like we've been waiting forever, to see the new naval battle system, which will be interesting. So yeah, that should, on the 23rd... So, let's take a look at what's going on. So it looks like a lot of our ships are seeking a target. We've got transports approaching, for some reason. Not sure why. I guess those are serving the role of screen ships while I've got my frigates conducting blockades elsewhere. Well, that's cool. It's got little tickers to show how things are going. While I'm getting distracted with that, I really should be... Oh, they reformed quite quickly. Yay, we won that battle. That's not surprising. Whew. Alright, what can we cut? We are gonna have to cut our military spending. Down to 0, that seems... Well, that seems like something we're gonna have to do. If we want this campaign to be a success... Aha, I see the game you're playing. We'll wait to get the reinforcements on the next turn. Excellent. And what have we got? Mecklenburg's relations, inventions. Voyage of the Sultana, the first Omani vessel to sail to the New World. Look at that, that's pretty cool. That has to be an actual real historical event. Breakthrough in Bolivia, breakthrough in Austria, and prices are rising. All things that are to be expected. Go kill the colonials. Excellent. Glory to Spain. They're completely dead. So, let's go and take Wazan. Well, look at that. That didn't take long at all. Proceed. Wonderful. Let's slap those guys in there. That should not be unseeable. Man, English is failing me today. There we go, now it is seeable. Alright. Merge those guys together. Then we can bring the cavalry on home. Perfect. Now, let's go to Morocco and start influencing them. Oh, we can't. So we have to wait for the truce to end before we can convince them that we're good people. I guess that makes sense. And slide them back to port. Excellent. And send those cavalry units back up to Madrid. And just like that, we're back making some money. Perfect. Merge those guys together, and then go back and put this back up to 50. And we can drop our stockpile spending down to about 20. And continue to stockpile some money, because that's always important to have. And we're about a month away from getting idealism. Even less than a month, look at that. And we also discovered proto-existentialism. Look at us go. So now with 50% more research points, we're going to be 50% smarter. And now it's a toss-up. Do we decide to focus on military technology, which could do things to help? Should we focus on industry, even though we have no way to really build any industry? Or commerce? Perhaps even navy. Steamers really might not be a bad idea, all things considered. What to do? I think we're gonna go with practical steam engine. We'll get that in 2 or so years. How's our clergymen? They're coming along just fine. Alright, so, oh, look at that. That's nice. A little Spanish Moroccan symbol going on with our beautiful gold, which isn't really producing all that much. As you can see, income from our gold mines isn't quite as high as I would like it. But with technology, all of that can be fixed. And we don't really have much of an infamy score at all. So what I would like to do is to start developing some more soldiers in the Pacific so we can push further in that region. Although that's a little ways off still. I'm hoping that by 1850-ish, we'll be able to start throwing weight around in the Pacific region a lot more effectively. Grievous insults! Of course it had to be Brunei. Well, our options are limited, but we're not going to cut them down to size, because that would just be a waste of a war. and forced treaties that would slow us down. So we won't worry about that. How is the world looking? So Mexico is doing quite well for itself. Pretty pleased with them. For some reason, they're at war with Brazil, because that... Oh, because Brazil's at war with Colombia. Making sense. And that sound... Sure, yeah. Give it to us when we get just over 1 prestige. So one of the other little fluff things they have added to the game, as you can see as these are getting connected, is an actual representation on the map of things that you're building. So, you know, before they did have factories showing up, I don't know how that changes, but apparently as you industrialize, your country will look more and more industrial, and then slowly but surely more and more filthy. So I don't know if we can quite see it yet with Britain. We can see a lot of the factories popping up and the rail networks going around everywhere. I imagine as the game progresses, especially Britain will start looking more and more industrial and less, you know, like a country on a map. So that's just an exciting little piece of flavor that I'm sure some people would consider useless, but I like that little attention to detail. Add to our sphere. Wonderful. Alright, so we don't really need to be influencing Colombia this much now that they're in our sphere, and nobody else is really going for them, so we can drop that pretty much to nothing. Same with USCA. And now we can start going after places like Uruguay and Peru. And we'll just go down the list of Latin American countries until we hit something like British Columbia there. I don't know why we're sitting at 25 with them, but cool, I'm not going to argue. Oh, newspapers. War between the Netherlands and Belgium. The Netherlands and Belgium. Only one Belgium, not more than one. The fears of the United States. Ooh. A recent article in an American newspaper startled their nation. A detailed analysis of their chilly relations with the United Kingdom led the editor to the conclusion that absent new guarantees, both countries might soon find themselves in a state of war. And it looks like the U.S. relations with France is looking pretty good. So that could be interesting. It doesn't look like France and the U.S. are allied, but the prospect of an American-British war is pretty exciting. Especially for our sphereling Mexico, who can hopefully make some gains out of that in the region. What is Russia doing? That's gotta just be... No, it's going up pretty quickly. Stay out of it, Russia. Hopefully that message got sent. Brazil... Oh, why are we throwing that much money at Brazil? Because they're in our sphere and they like us. So we don't need to be doing that. I would imagine other countries might be getting involved in here, though. Right? Countries like... I mean, there it says France, but it certainly doesn't look like France. Oh well. We can just use that as a good excuse to... Well, no! Look at that! Wow. Good paying attention. At least I didn't click away. That would have been embarrassing. Perfect! Now, let's see where else we can add some railroads. I think Valencia is going to need one. And then we can just send this up the coast. To Barcelona. That's pretty nice. That would be a nice train journey. And then we can send this down that way. Beautiful. Alright. So, there's really not much else to be done. Like I say, by around 1850, I think we'll be in a better position to start striking out for more colonial possessions, and we can definitely afford them. Wow, that seemed to drop. Don't know why that... Is this actually a... No, that's a colony. Not sure why the colony points dropped. Must have been research or something? Who knows? Anyway, I think June 1st or 2nd is a good place to leave the video. So, thumbs up if you have enjoyed this video. Leave your comments, questions, concerns, thoughts, jokes, musings, what have you below. Thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.